I had a thought today, and let me know what you guys think about this, because it's been stirring in my mind, and I just thought I wanted to get it out there. I think Dricus Du Plessis has the same sort of character arc as Alexander Volkanovski. Now, before you guys jump down my throat and you're just like, oh, well, Volk lost the last fight, he's washed. Okay, sure, you guys can yell at me all you want, but his character arc, his story, the way he became the champion and arguably the featherweight GOAT is very similar to what's going on with Dricus Du Plessis right now. Okay? So, if you remember the rise of Alexander Volkanovski, and I wasn't there for all of it, right? But I was there for a good chunk of it. He was the guy that was always kind of counted out. Like, I think he was an underdog on a lot of the different cards that he was a part of. Everybody always would say, you know what? Volk is great. He's this, he's that, but he doesn't have the skill set to match Jose Aldo, Max Holloway, all these different people. And yet he kept on winning, and he kept on winning, and he kept on winning to the point where he beat Max Holloway 3 times, right? He had a few close decisions in there. Some of the times, the commentators and everyone was like, oh, it's a really close fight, but he ended up getting the job done and finding a way to win constantly and consistently. If we remember his fight against Brian Ortega, he was piecing him up, but he got put in some of the tightest, craziest submissions that 9 out of 10 people would tap to, but he fought his way through it. It even came to a point where Alexander Volkanovski started getting upset with Max Holloway because A, he'd beaten him 3 times, but Max Holloway is so bloody good that all the #1 contenders couldn't beat Holloway. So Volkanovski had nobody to fight. They had to work around Max in some way, shape, or form to give people like Yair Rodriguez a chance, right? And so my whole point is that Alexander Volkanovski was always this guy who was kind of awkward. He didn't have anything specifically special about him. He was a good wrestler, but not a great wrestler. He's a decent striker, but not known to be a phenomenal striker. And we have Max Holloway, who, he's known as one of the best strikers in the UFC to this day, who got whooped by Volk 3 times. Now, I remember watching their second fight, and arguably Max won that fight, but still, right? In history, it'll go down that Volk beat Max Holloway 3 times. That's just, it is what it is, right? And so right now, you're looking at Dricus Du Plessis, who, for the most part, he's been the underdog in almost every single one of these fights. And it's a similar story, right? The guy has, this awkward style. He's got some kickboxing background. He's got some submission and jiu-jitsu, grappling, all these things, but he's not a world champion. He's not, super decorated in his discipline. Izzy was, 5-time world champion kickboxer or something like that, right? Robert Whittaker was a national wrestling champion for Australia. So you got all these guys who have these, I think Derreck Brunson was a NCAA wrestler. So it's like, you got these guys with all these accolades and whatever, and yet Dricus Du Plessis is finding a way to beat each and every one of them. Right? And the only thing I can say is that it's got to be, part of it has to be at least his work ethic, right? There are very few people out there who, in my opinion, who are outworking the Dagestanis, you know what I mean? The Dagestanis and the Chechens and these guys, all they do is train and pray. That's it, right? And take some time off during Ramadan. Some exceptions to that, in my opinion, are people like Alexander Volkanovski and Dricus Du Plessis. You can tell that they just have this grind and this work ethic in them beyond anybody else. And I think it goes down to the fact that they aren't super talented, you know what I mean? There's people who have natural talents who they don't need to work as hard or train as hard because they've got this natural talent, and they've done the work to be, and they don't rest on their laurels, right? Whereas you look at both of these guys, like on paper, especially coming into their career, there wasn't anything particularly special about either one of them, right? And yet here we are, Alexander Volkanovski, the greatest featherweight of all time. Some say it's Jose Aldo, but I believe it's Volkanovski because he beat Jose Aldo in what was arguably his prime. You know, he was 30 at the time they fought, and I think Volk was 30 as well. And Dricus Du Plessis, he's 30 right now. He has beaten some notable names. Robert Whittaker, former world champion. Israel Adesanya, former world champion. Sean Strickland, former world champion. That Strickland fight was incredibly close, but at the end of the day, Dricus Du Plessis found a way to win, and he did it on his first try. A lot of people struggle with Sean Strickland all the time. So, you know, the character arc is interesting, and I truly believe that Dricus, the next time he fights Strickland, is going to find a way to win. And I think that, you know, just about anybody at the middleweight division, Dricus just has this sense about him that he's going to find a way to win. On top of which, can we just all admit that Dricus Du Plessis' trash talk is on another level, and it kind of sucks that he's a good guy. You know what I mean? Like, from an entertainment perspective, Dricus Du Plessis, he's made Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya cry. At least that's the narrative, right? Whether or not they was specifically him, I don't know. But and if you remember, I remember the build up to 297 where, you know, he had this evil laugh. But at the end of the day, like, he's a class act, right? And when all is said and done, he's praising Izzy. He's like, you know, you're a legend of the sport. All these different things. But, like, man, just for a split second, I feel like we need a little bit more evil Dricus because he's great at the trash talk and puts on just this crazy level of entertainment. So let me know what you guys think with this idea. I'm just kind of spitting it out there, giving you kind of my thoughts on the whole matter. If you wouldn't mind, hit the like and subscribe button. It helps with the algorithm, helps grow the channel. But like I said, I just feel like, you know, I don't even know how else to put career trajectory, maybe that's a more appropriate word, but like the character arc between the two of them, Volkanovski, Dricus Du Plessis, nothing special about any of them that like jumps off the page, right? But yet they find a way to win, and I think it boils down to just work ethic in this championship mindset. And Chael brought up something super interesting about Dricus, is that he can match the style of the guy he's fighting, right? Like, he got into a brawl with Sean Strickland, mixing in some grappling, and he was going toe-to-toe with Izzy in the kickboxing side of things. Now, I don't know if I necessarily buy that, because like it looked to me that Izzy was getting the better, of course, of the striking exchanges, but because of Dricus' ability to mix in the grappling and the jiu-jitsu and that type of thing, that's what sort of leveled the playing field and ultimately led him to victory, right? So I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of what I think. I wanted to throw this out there at you guys and let me know what you think. Leave a comment and tell me if I'm on the money or not. I think I am. I think I am. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time.